Hi, friends. Welcome to a very special edition of one of our Twitch broadcasts in which we share some of our community conversations. We always love to share what's going on out there in our community theater world and have different people from the community come and tell us what are the latest happenings, what's been going on with you, pre and during pandemic, and how are you rolling out of it now. So we are pleased beyond belief to be able to share with you today this community conversation with Elise Hodge of EMH Productions and the Artist Collective. Now, there's two different things going on here because there's a lot happening, and Elise herself will tell you what all of that is, but they've got some wonderful productions coming up very soon. The main one being the production of a show called Reflection by Shane Robert, and it's directed by Elise Hodge, and it's going to be opening at the Uli Theater on September 15th, and it'll run through October 1st. It's going to be an amazing show, and what I'd like to do now is go ahead and segue over and have, Elise talk to you about it and tell you what's happening in their world of EMH Productions and the Artist Collective. So stay with me a moment. We're going to go ahead and start our community conversation with Elise Hodge of the Artist Collective. I am so excited. Hi, welcome everybody to this edition of Community Conversations. I love doing these because I get to talk to the neatest people. This beautiful woman sitting before you is Elise Hodge. She's with EMH. She is EMH Productions. We were just talking beforehand and decided that she needs a t-shirt that says, Elise, all of the jobs. Everything. She does it all. She writes, she directs, she produces, she acts. And she's got more to tell you about that. Elise, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Iris. It's lovely to be here, and I'm thrilled to get to talk about all the things, as it were.
Yeah, I know. Trying to make a list of everything that you do. So we'll give you some time. You have all the time you need. You can tell us about all the things. I'm so excited. So I want to start us off by letting people know who you are and what you've been doing. You've been doing amazing things these last 10, 12 years since I've known you. Thank you. Talk about EMH Productions and everything that goes with that, please.
Oh, please. I'd love to. Well, EMH is just my initials, by the way. So yes, it's my company because it's my name, Elise Marie Hodge. That's EMH Productions. And I've been doing theater here locally in Sacramento, like you said, for about 12 years almost now. And I've, traveled around from theater to theater and done things in different spaces, and predominantly at the Gary Theater and then the Little Uli Theater, which is on 28th and T Street. And just to sort of jump ahead a little tiny bit, that is where I am now permanently located, because as of July, that is now my theater of residence. I am the proprietor there, and it is all mine. So yeah, I'm very excited for that, and the opportunities it's going to afford, hopefully not only myself, but the people I work with, as well as a lot of our other theater companies here in Sacramento. So hoping to open our doors up to other companies and let them come do guest shows and things like that throughout the coming years. So, but yeah, EMH, I've been, like I said, doing theater here locally for about 12 years. And I am just always picking things that I hope throughout the time that I do shows that are funny, but also very, very serious and tackle social issues. I try to find a range of things in a given year to do stuff. One of my big ones, though, is I always try to make sure I do a show that is for actors in particular who are that 50 to 60 and over, that isn't a play about somebody dying because they're a grandparent.
Thank you for that.
You're very welcome, because guess what? We are still people. We still have lives, and we still do things, and we exist.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All you have to do is talk to any of the women I work with at White House Black Market, the boutiques, ladies boutique store. I work at the one in Folsom a couple of days a week out at, the Palladio, there off of East Bidwell. And I cannot tell you, these women, they date a lot. So I figure, you know what? This is for them. And I'm really glad to do that at least, once in a year. One of the other things I love to make sure we do is something that is dramatic and tackles social issues. And that is actually what we're doing for our next production that opens September 15th. It does tackle mental illness and sadly suicide, but it is a very important subject. And I think it's even more important given what we've been going through the last almost 3 years now. It's become an even bigger topic of conversation, I think, with people. And one of my playwrights from my new company, the Artists Collective, which we started up right at the beginning of 2020 and then poof, right? But it was founded with the idea of helping our local playwrights get their work out there. And the Artist Collective has a writer's room. And in that writer's room, we nurture local playwrights to help them workshop their material, get their material read by actors, readings, feedback, all those good things. We've now done 3 performances, 3 separate shows that that have been featuring local playwrights. But we've also been doing a series since the pandemic started. We went live stream almost immediately there at the Uli Theater. And started doing like little 2-person 10-minute shows from our playwrights, all of their little 1-acts. And we would feature them once a month. And we're still going to continue that. So if you are a local writer and want to have one of your 10-minute plays featured, you can reach out to me and let me know about it, because we're always looking for content for our Matters of Life and Death series. So that's one of the programs we're running. But the Artist Collective, we started it, like I said, to help our local playwrights. The next show features Shane Robert, who is one of our nice 30-somethings. And it's a very personal play for him. He's actually worked on it a couple of times before this production. He had it done, I think he did it at an outdoor venue to start, just to sort of get it some legs. And this was a number of years ago now. And then he produced and directed it one year at the Uli Theater. He came to me and asked if he could do a production there. And then this time around, he's like, okay, I need to let go of it. I need to let someone else work it. I need to find, those final things that can help make it, elevate it, really make it that show that I want it to be. And I was very honored to be asked to direct and produce this production. And we have a really fantastic cast. We have Tony DeCordy and Mansour Haq. And he is a Bay Area local, and he is really fantastic. He and Tony just have wonderful chemistry together. I can't wait for you guys to see them. Then we also have Jessica Kaufman and Kayla Rikerson. And so it's these 2 couples, and you're watching the 2 women learn how to handle dealing with 2 men in their lives who are dealing with suicide issues. So it's that sort of in and out of seeing how hard it is to be on both sides of that fence, where you're the person trying to help or the person going through it. And there's a lot of validity to those 2 things. It's very hard to be the person watching it and not always knowing what to do, because you can't know what to do necessarily. But also being the person who goes through it, you don't know how to ask for help all the time, and you don't want to ask for help all the time, but then you feel so alone, and the depression is so huge. And I think this piece really speaks to both sides of that fence. So it's got some really beautiful, touching moments and some very uplifting moments. And I think people will really resonate with it, especially those of us who've been through these kinds of experiences.
Sure.
So it's definitely not appropriate for, younger. This isn't for adults. But you can get your tickets at emhboxoffice.com. We are both live streaming the production as well as doing the live in person. So there's opportunity for you to see this, whether you're staying at home or you're wanting to get out for an event. So we do, just to throw this in there also, yes, we are still requiring you to wear masks in the theater at the Uli. Namaste, right?
And I've noticed that many theater companies are still requiring that.
Yeah.
I mean, I always remind people there's no social distancing. You're sitting right next to somebody. So you may want to keep your mask on. Just because they said it's all right to go out, people are still getting sick. So cautions, always with caution. So I appreciate that when theaters
of course. But we are no longer asking for proof of vaccination at this point. We just want to make sure that you are masked and willing to wear your mask inside the venue once you arrive. So that is our one request. And other than that, to enjoy yourself while you're there. We hope that you will. And since the space is now officially all mine, I will be opening up. There is a lovely back patio. A lot of people don't even know this at the Uli Theater. There is a wonderful little back patio that I have now taken charge of, and made a whole little garden area in the back. So you can come before the show and hang out and bring your own bottle of wine if you choose, or a beer or two if you'd like. Wine and beer only, please. And you are welcome to enjoy that on our new back patio space. So please feel free to do that. Yeah.
I can't wait to come down. It's been a minute since I've been there, so I'm excited. I want to see that.
I'm excited too. We aren't going to do an official like grand reopening or grand opening or however you want to call it, probably until October, which is when we do our second show for the fall, which is going to be Arsenic and Old Lace.
Ooh.
An oldie but a goodie. Yes. Because we figure after something so heavy and poignant and, like I said, socially conscious, we wanted to do something fun and silly and goofy, and remind us all that life is also fun and ridiculous, and good to have a good time. And we have a wonderful range of actors in that. There's like 12 actors in this show. It's a great cast with Maggie Upton as one of our sisters, and then the wonderfully talented Jasmine Hempstead. She is going to be playing Martha. So we've got our Abby and our Martha. And Mortimer Brewster, who's obviously one of the other big leads in it, is going to be played by a gentleman named Trey Lee. And for people who saw it, when we very first started live streaming, Trey played an actor named Anthony, and a character named Anthony in the play Actually. That was the very first play we live streamed almost 3 years ago now.
Wow.
So, So hopefully that was probably a lot of information all at once, but that's all the things. So, as you said, we're doing all the things.
Oh, yeah.
So that sort of gives you a nice little rundown of all the things. Right. So September 15th, we open up Reflection by Shane Robert. And then October 20th, we will be opening Arsenic and Old Lace. And the last Friday, Saturday of every month, we're going to be doing Matters of Life and Death, which is a little 10-minute show by one of our local playwrights. And usually if we can get the writer to agree to it, we do an interview with them as well. So you get to meet the writer.
Oh, that's excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, so those are all the things. Yeah. Yeah. We obviously are planning next year. So how about for Sarta? I know that there is so much going on with you guys, and I thank you so much for giving us locally here so much opportunity to promote ourselves and throw out there, to our fellow artists what we're doing and what we're involved with. So thank you for that.
No, absolutely. Many of the shifts that we have made during the pandemic also, I mean, the last time we had an Ellie show, it had to be virtual because 2020. Yeah. And, just as most people already know, we've shut down and shelved that program for a while. I won't say it'll never be back, but for right now, we've shelved it as it was. We're always thinking about, well, if it were resurrected, what would it look like? Yeah. So, still working on that. I don't think everybody really realized how many moving parts there were to that.
Oh, yes. There's a lot to that. I mean, I was not surprised in a certain sense when you all said you weren't going to be bringing it back for at least now at this point in time. For one of the things, I think the big reasons that occurred to me was just because of the pandemic. Like, it's very hard to get people because it's volunteers.
Yep. And it's hard to get a lot of volunteers to go out, be willing to go out. Yeah. To see all the different plays in their category. Yeah. And, that's 5 different judges that we used to have go to each
category that you had.
Category that was, it was a lot. It was
I know. I was a judge one year for original works because I wanted to see. I wanted to take a year and see, what kind of talent was here in Sacramento and who was writing plays and what was happening in that universe. And I mean, I didn't probably go near as many shows as somebody who does the comedy category or the drama category. I mean, I'm sure it was way less, and it was still hard for me to get to everything.
Sure. And our hardest category was education. Yeah. And I'm sorry, we have to go see the kids' shows, Yes. And the trick is they're during the week, they're in the middle of the day sometimes, so just finding people who have that time to commit. I always use the phrase herding cats. It was challenging at time. Our, God bless him, our Ellie coordinator was amazing because if something fell through the cracks or somebody couldn't make it, he always went.
Yes.
So that we could make sure that
But
we
at
had
least to have
the representation
yeah, the
there.
representation.
It was difficult. And after the coming out of the pandemic, we were just like, I don't even know. We can't even think about it yet. So
Yeah.
we're doing some quarterly events that, I'm going to talk about during the Twitch feed.
Nice.
And we're going to get people together to do some things. So we're going to do some Broadway karaoke on October 1st. So you will see
Ooh.
that mentioned not only on our Twitch feed, but it's going to be in our local newsletter, and it'll be on the website and things like that. So we will have, be getting people together again like that, because I know that a lot of people look for that community and camaraderie once a year at the Ellie's, but we'd like to have it happen more than just once a year.
I think that would be great.
You know?
That's something I hope we can make happen, because I feel like something that's hard for all of us as artists is being able to get together, because we're always doing the show.
Exactly.
Or, we're always rehearsing something, we're already performing something, where it's hard to see each other's things, much less commune with each other.
Right.
So it'd be great to have a known event that, like, oh, everybody's going to go to that. Okay, great.
Yeah. I'll meet you there. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, we're looking at trying to put together things like that for just such a thing. And then you can come and promote your talk. By all means, bring your cards, talk about your show. Everybody, makes their little cards that say, hey, this is our next production. Come out and see us. It's like, yes, bring networking time. That was always something we tried to do with the theater companies. But as you pointed out, if you don't have one going up, you got one coming down, you got one in production, you're doing auditions, you're doing rehearsals, it's tech week. So everybody is up to their elbows in alligators at any given time. So just having a separate time when it's like, okay, no pressure, everybody just show up. We're going to have a good time, have drinks together, have talk together, hang out for a while. And, if collaborations happen out of that, yay, that's.
And let me know if you want to, do it at the Uli Theater sometime, because now I can.
Yes, she has a new back patio. Let's talk, people. She's got this fabulous garden she's created.
I hope so. I mean, it's not huge, but it's fun.
Yeah.
So, because the Uli Theater is not a big space. It's only 35 seats, which is one of the reasons that I went ahead and put the cameras in and all of that for our live stream, because in a sense, I am not a nonprofit, for those of you who don't know that. I am a for-profit theater, and as such, I needed to figure out a way to make this venue more palatable for wider range of audience, and I hadn't planned to install the cameras, but then the pandemic hit, and I thought, well, I guess I'm doing that now. And Mr. Uli, who's been living there all these years and had built the space, he was like, sure, go ahead, have fun, have at it. And I was like, all right, cool. So, and I think that's one of the reasons it ended up sort of in my hands at this point, is because he has retired and moved to Walnut Grove to go fishing and live in a little mobile home there by a lake. So
love it.
Yes, good for him. And you will still see him wandering around every now and then, I think, because he's very, I think he's very fond of this place, because he did construct it. He did build it all with his own two little hands. So, but I know he feels very pleased that it's going to continue as a theater. And we have a whole new backstage, by the way, for those of you who have worked at the Uli, and the green room and all of that was like stage right, like across the hallway. That is no longer the case. The stage, the backstage is now actually behind the stage, like a normal theater. And we have a full kitchen. So if you need to cook dinner before the show starts, you can do that now.
The things that people go through to do theater. I think that's one of the beauties of, for me, definitely community theater, because folks, I always remind people, they don't get paid.
No.
They're doing it because they love doing this. They're making it work no matter where they are and what they've got to work with. Yeah. I can still remember the production of String of Pearls that happened in a coffee shop on a box stage, practically.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So, theater can happen wherever the people are.
Yes.
And that's the neat thing about theater itself, about community theater, and the passion that, folks like you and the actors that work with you bring to community theater. It's what keeps, folks like me coming back and wanting to help and volunteer and do all of these kind of things. I mean, that's kind of what nobody at SARTA gets paid either. We're all volunteers. So
it's voluntary. Yeah, it's just all
voluntary. I couldn't do the Twitch program without my crack SARTA volunteer that always helps me behind the scenes by monitoring the chats and all of those kinds of things. And, we make it work. We make it happen because we love theater. So it's exciting to have this. It's exciting to have folks like you doing this.
I'm very excited to do it. I think I'm even just more excited for next year. 2023 being the first year that I really get to do a full year of shows. No restrictions, no holds barred, so to speak. Yeah. And right now I have a lineup of predominantly female directors. So woohoo. Yeah. And some really great small cast shows, because it does lend itself more to small cast, even though we are doing Arsenic and Old Lace, which is a pretty big cast.
That's a lot of people, but
the theater is more built for smaller, 6 and less cast member shows. For example, I believe we're hoping that we can make this work out right, but Maggie Upton is going to be starting off January as a member of the Artist Collective. She's kicking off January with Constellations. She's tried to get this show off the ground a couple of times now, but I know that's her big plan. That's her baby. She wants to see it happen.
Awesome.
And that's what we do at the Artist Collective. It is a place where people can come and bring a project that they really are passionate about and say, I want to get this on the stage. And how can we make that happen? So that's what your membership is to help you get your dream project off the ground.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. So we have actors and producers and writers and directors and all involved with it. And we've had anywhere from 35 members to, we started off with 20, and we've stayed pretty strongly at 20 for the last 3 years, oddly enough, being on Zoom a lot of the time. But we've all stuck it out. And at some point we got kind of big for a little while, and then it dwindled back down a little bit, because I think, people are like, are we ever going to get off Zoom? Are we ever going to, be in person? And now we're starting to build back up again. And so I hope people watch for auditions and openings to join the collective.
Is there a website that we can?
Yes. If you go to emhpros.weebly, weebly.com, it's a Weebly site. You can see where I post auditions and talk about the company. You can go there anytime. And again, if you want tickets for a show, you go to emhboxoffice.com. So I work with a company called On the Stage, and they are a venue a company that helps you do both live stream as well as in-person ticketing. And they provide a massively wonderful website for you to utilize, that you just throw everything in there like you do with a Weebly site, or I think it's Wix is the other one that a lot of people use.
Yeah.
But they provide you all these ways for you to promote your shows, and it's kind of fantastic. So
that's awesome to hear. Yeah. And thank you for sharing that, because I'm sure there's some other theater companies out there that would want to, possibly
check into that.
That would be great.
They're really lovely. They started up during the pandemic because of community theater. They were trying to help people like me stay alive and kicking.
Sure. Absolutely.
So, and it's been very, very helpful.
We have learned so much.
Yeah, for
about
sure.
how to do that.
Yeah. Let's see. So Maggie's kicking us off, and then I'm directing a couple of shows, obviously. And we have Lori Ocampo. I keep getting this wrong. I should know this by now. I'm terrible with this. I just love Lori, and I always get her last name all turned around in my brain. But Lori's going to direct for us. She's in film and theater, much like myself.
Okay.
Something I hope to see starting to take a little more shape is the film side of EMH Productions, now that I'm in the theater completely and can use it as a sound stage in addition to a theater stage. So if you're looking for places to do short film work, hopefully this can also start opening up that door as well for people. So we shall see. Yeah.
Awesome.
But I know I have a couple of more women directors lined up, hopefully, but I haven't gotten the final word, so I can't say.
Got it.
But
well, you know what? That's okay. You'll just have to come back.
I'll have to come back
and tell us your whole season.
Yeah.
When we get a little closer to the end of the year, and we'll have you on again. That's okay.
I would love it. I would love it. But
All right. The last thing I had was, what was your next production? We've already talked about that. I love this. You have so many things going on. See what I said, folks? Elise, all the things. Says all the things. All the things. On the t-shirt, all the things.
All the things. That I need that t-shirt. I will have to get it at some point and have it. And it's been a joy though to do all the things.
Right.
And you know, I think that there's a lot of opportunity for people to learn things at the ULI with the Artist Collective. If there are things you want to learn behind the scenes or as an actor, this is a place for you to join us. One of the things I'm doing with the Artist Collective, I've really finally gotten that off the ground these last couple of years, is getting workshops. We had an international theater guru come in just recently. His name's David Glass. You all should look him up. He does amazing, amazing things. When he comes back,
for that.
You do not want to miss his workshop when he comes back for a whole weekend. We just had him for one night, but he's amazing. Look up David Glass. We also have Janice, of course, Janice, who does not have Janice come work with you. Janice Stevens is going to come workshop with us. Catherine Stroller is going to come work with us as well. And then Lori is going to teach with us. So we've got a range of things coming up, and I'm excited for it. So watch for auditions from us, and those will be coming up over the next couple of months. So watch for those.
Yes. And, you know, watch the SARTA newsletter, the SARTA website, because any of you out there who are listening to this can post your information there so that we can all see that. So when the auditions come up, I can talk about them on the stream on Twitch, and they're going to go in the newsletter so everybody else sees it too. I had another friend recently who has done theater, and he posted on Facebook, he says, "Where are all the auditions? I don't know what's going on." And I was like, I would have torn my hair out had I had any. But I was like, what are they? Where have you been? I'm typing back furiously. And then I sent him the link, and I'm going, go and look. They're all there. It's free.
It's all right there.
You know, and you know, we're trying to make this as supportive of the theaters and user friendly and free as we possibly can, because we fully realize that, you know, for the last 2.5, almost 3 years, the theaters who weren't making a whole lot in the first place have made nothing in some cases. So, you know, just getting the ball rolling again for everybody in community theaters, what we're trying to work towards. So anything we can do to promote what you're doing, by all means, let us know all the time. So keep us in the loop. You guys out there, keep us in the loop so that we can talk about what you're doing, and come on here and you can talk about it in person, just like Miss Elise just did.
Well, it's my pleasure. So thank you for having me on, Iris.
So
I really
much for
appreciate
coming.
Oh,
I appreciate it. It's a joy. All right. Well, you know what? Thank you for tonight. Thank you all for joining us for this community conversation. And again, if you'd like to be a part of this, email us, sarta@sarta.com, and say, hey, I want to be a part of the community conversations. And we'll get you on here so you can talk about your program, just like EMH Productions and the Artist Collective. Thanks, Elise. Have a great night.
You too.
You guys out there, have a great night. And we will see you all, hopefully, at the theater.
Yay. Bye.
Amazing. The work that's being done by EMH Productions and the Artist Collective over at the ULI Theater. Just a reminder again that their production, Reflections, will be opening on September 15th. So tickets are available right now. You can go ahead and get those. Contact EMH Productions to get your tickets, and, you know, contact the Artist Collective if you want to start workshopping some of the writing that you've been doing. This sounds like an amazing opportunity for anyone who's looking to get into this, who has, you know, this kernel of an idea that they want to develop. This could be the place for you to do that at the Artist Collective. So thank you again to Elise Hodge. Thank you again to the folks at the Artist Collective. And thank you to all of you for joining us for this community conversation. We're going to have another community conversation coming up really soon with our friend Chris Smith from the stage at Burke Junction. And we had an amazing chat a couple of nights ago. So we will keep you apprised of that. If you're watching this, please hit the follow button on Twitch, that nice little heart. Follow us and you'll get notifications when we're about to go live, so that we have our productions. The community conversations will come up every now and again, but typically every Thursday night there's a broadcast called This Week at the Theater that you can be a part of. If you want to send your information in to SARTA via our website, go to the SARTA website, sarta.com, and go ahead and go to the shows page or the auditions page and upload your information. We've made it as user-friendly as we possibly can, and we're still working on tweaking it to make it even better for you to just fill out the form so you can give us the information so everybody can have access to that in community theater. We love our folks in community theater and want to support you thoroughly, and that's why we're here doing this. So until next time, we have a great community collaborator to speak with. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you at the theater. Have a great afternoon, everyone.